It's Adrian Fontes here, taking a minute at lunchtime just to chat with you really briefly about the really monstrous number of election bills that are going through the state legislature. And one of the biggest problems that exists in Arizona today is that we've got too many people who believe that the administration of elections is a political question, not a process question. I'm just going to talk about that really quick today. Here's the deal. They are different things. And I'm really hoping that folks across the political spectrum will understand political campaigns, and I'll use my hands on different sides here. Political campaigns are about ideas. They're about candidates. They're about, the initiatives, the yeses and the nos. They're about the results of the process, but the process is distinct from that. And again, I want to talk to you guys because I think the conversation has gotten too wacky. It's gotten too crazy and it's gotten too political. The process is what matters. The way that we administer the elections is what matters. We should not look to the result to drive the process. That's how we poison the process. That's how we deny some eligible citizens the right to vote. And I don't know anybody out there who will publicly say that they want to deny eligible citizens the right to vote. I don't care how far right wing you are or how far left wing you are or whatever, because that's politics. And folks don't want to show that their politics are influencing their decisions on process. And so they create things like a gazillion illegal aliens in California voting or widespread voter fraud or all these mythologies, because what they want to do is take the politics and inject it into the process, which is bad. It's bad for democracy. And I'm specifically talking to like Republicans and conservatives out there. Please pay attention, because the process is what we want in our government. That's what we want. We want predictable. We want solid rules. We want it to be fair. I mean, that's what the Constitution's about, right? A set of rules that are fair about what the government can and can't do. And we want a result that's real. And we've got that. We worked for a long time really hard with a lot of people to get a process that works. And it has withstood every single test. Okay? That's real. That's real. The problem is that some people have it in their head that the political outcome ought to dictate what they do with the process. And so we've got people like Kelly Townsend and Michelle Ugenti and Shauna Bullock, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Anyway, what they're doing is they're saying, my outcome isn't what I want it to be, so I've got to change the rules. That's wrong-headed. That's the wrong way to look at this. Where the rules are fair and secure and give a good outcome and are verifiable, and you can look at what happened, which is what we have. We already have that. Then you're good. Then let the campaigns, let the politicians, let the initiatives, let the other groups deal with that. Now here's the unfortunate thing. The process has been politicized, and here's how. Some folks on one side of the political aisle think they can't win on politics, on ideas. They think they're not able to do that unless they keep less people voting, unless they reduce the number of actual voters. So they're injecting their political motive into the process, and that's wrong-headed. It's just wrong-headed from the beginning. And so what we see are a lot of bills that are trying to kill the permanent early vote list, that are trying to do all kinds of other things like, oh, your presidential vote doesn't matter. They're working on killing the process because of a political motive. That's wrong. That's not what it's supposed to be about. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of voices in the moderate right who are saying, leave the process alone. Now, we do have some, the Board of Supervisors in Maricopa County, for one, they're saying, no, you guys are just being wacky, don't. And so they do exist on both sides of the aisle, but the advocacy groups that are fighting against these bad bills, some of the politicians that are fighting against these bad bills tend to be on the progressive left. And so it looks like it's contrabalanced too far. And then the automatic political reaction from the far right is, look, it's all these leftists that are trying to make the process fair, so we need to fix the process. And it's just this crazy political back and forth. Regular Arizona voters are tired of this nonsense. People across the political spectrum are saying enough. we've got a great process, one of the best processes in the country right now, bar none. We've got more access than we've ever had. We have more security than we've ever had. People are commenting all over the country about how great the processes are in Arizona, or were in 2020. Then folks are trying to erode that for political purposes. The process must be solid. And why do we want that? Because then the real voice of the public gets out there. Then you can have a robust conversation about ideas. Then you can have a robust conversation about this candidate versus that candidate, this initiative versus that initiative. That's fine. But folks, we've got to be more sophisticated in the way we see things. Elections and politics are different. Elections and campaigns are different creatures. You know, for the last 4 years, I had to be just elections. I didn't get to say a lot of stuff about how I felt politically because I wanted to have a free and fair election. And guess what? It impacted me politically because I didn't get reelected. But I know the process was real, and it was solid, and it was true. We did that job well. And now folks are trying to destroy it for political reasons. So talk to those groups. The Arizona Advocacy Network, go to Unite Arizona, go to Lucha, find these groups out there. Talk to the Reggie Boldings and the Athena Solomons of the world. And unfortunately, most of them are on the political left. And I say unfortunately because we should have more folks on the political right joining them and saying, the process is more important than your politics, Shauna Bullock. The process is more important than your politics, Michelle Ugenti. The process is more important than your politics, Kelly Townsend. If you want better outcomes, give us better candidates, give us better ideas, whatever. But don't mess with the process that is a good process. Don't kill the permanent early vote list. Don't make it mandatory for people to have to get get their ballot notarized. You know who that's going to affect the most? Think about this. The highest concentration of permanent early vote list voters is in Sun City West, Sun City Grand. Those are all Republican voters. So these guys with this political motive are going to make it harder for their own voters to vote? Guys, it's not supposed to be political when you talk about the process and administering elections. And that's what we've devolved into. So, yeah, there are people who are fighting this fight, but they got to get the word out better too. They got to talk to you guys. I've mentioned some of the groups. I'll mention them again because I just got a call from one of the Democratic legislative districts to come talk to them. From one of those representatives who's telling me, why are you calling us out? I'm calling people out because this is really, really important. And we all have to use all of our voices together. So yeah, find these groups. If they haven't found you, ask them what you can do, right? Let's get the politics out of the process, continue on our path of free, fair, accessible elections right here in Arizona, and cut out I was going to say a word that I shouldn't say. Let's cut out the malarkey, shall we? I'm Adrian Fontes, still working in elections, but in a different county south of the Gila River. Love to get your input down here. And don't worry, we're still fighting in this together, although some of us have a lot of work to do during the week. So I'll be back with more stuff maybe next week. Look at this stuff. Take an hour or two this weekend. Look at some of the crazy bills that are out there in the legislature. Call up folks that you think can help you out and can help out these other groups that are advocating against this. Let's all work together. Thanks so much.